Hi guys, this is Ida. I wanted to share with you the box that I made. I already showed it to you guys for my Swapper's Delight, this one with Miss Tamika. So I wanted to share with you how I made this box and show you how easy the process is. So I prepped almost everything already, so it won't be a long video. So I've got a lot of my boxes already done, but I'm just going to show you like bits and pieces of how I did it and what I did, what I used to adhere my elements onto the box and all that. So let's get started, you guys. The box that I'm doing is a little bit different because this box is for my friend, or I call her my sis now, and she is Carolyn, who is Tea Time and Dolls here on YouTube. And I was going to send her a bunch of little gadgets, you know, little things, doodads, whatever, whether they were flowers or flatbacks or whatever. And I was going to package everything individually. But now by making this box, I don't even have to do all that packaging because I can actually put it into the box. The box will serve her as storage. And it's beautiful, and it'll be beautiful, and it'll contain everything, and it will eliminate from me having to package everything individually. So this is the box that we're gonna work on, guys. This is the box that I made for my swap with Scrap the World, Tamika. So let's get started, guys. And these are those little Dollar Tree. The real small boxes, but the one I'm going to work on is a little bit bigger, but I'm going to be swapping back and forth between boxes because I still have to make 3 more of these little ones. So let's get started, guys. So I'm going to show you what I did first. The first thing that I did, that I painted the whole box with gesso. Now, I've been thinking, you know, us crafters, we always want to change something or improve something, or that's the way my mind thinks. Now I put gesso all over this box, everywhere, even where you see gray right now. Everything was white, it painted in white gesso except for the bottom. I left that clear. Okay, but I was thinking that maybe it would be better if you used a spray paint that was for plastic, to paint anything that's plastic. I think that would adhere better, and you wouldn't have to worry about it peeling off or scraping off or whatever, because I think this, like if you were to really scratch it, try and get it off, you probably could. But with that paint that's made for plastic, it wouldn't be so easy. But this is going to last, you know. It's not going to be ruined because you handle it or anything like that. But, you know, I just like things to be long-lasting. So I'm thinking that if you get a can of spray paint that's made for plastic and paint the whole thing except the bottom in white as a base would be better. The next thing that I did, guys, is this little recess area. I painted it in a dark gray, and I'm going to grab that real quick so I can show it to you. I thought I was ready. Well, actually, I'm not even going to grab it. It's just a dark gray. You can do black. You can do dark brown. You can do a darker pink. You can do any color, whatever color you want to show through when you do your crackling, the lines, the crevices. Whatever color you want to show through in those little crevices or that crackling effect, that's what you put here. So after I painted this in the dark gray, because that's what I wanted to show through, I went ahead and used my, this is the one I use. It's by Folk Art, and it's Crackle Medium, and it's made by, well, it's made by Folk Art, but then it says plaid here, so it doesn't really matter. Any kind of Crackle Medium will work. And this one, see, it shows you the crackling effect. There's some that's real small. There's some that's really big. This is the one I got. And, you know, I just looked at the top and saw the crackling effect, and I thought this is what I want. So this is the one I use, guys. And I don't know if I got this at, I probably bought it at Joann's because I shop at Joann's a lot. But I'm sure Hobby Lobby has it. I'm sure Michael's has it. I'm sure AC Moore has it. And probably even Walmart, guys. Anyway, this is the one I used. So all I did was, after I had painted this gray and it had dried, I painted just this little recess area with the crackle medium. And you can see that it's kind of glossy where I put the crackle medium on, but I didn't go ahead and paint it because I want to show you guys what it does automatically. Now, if you don't have any crackle medium, I did see a video that somebody made and they used Elmer's glue. The thing is that they didn't let the glue dry before they painted over it. It looks like they painted with Elmer's glue and then they brushed on the color they were doing, and with their heat gun dried it and it started to crackle. So you can try that if you don't have this, you know. Try it on a piece of paper, try it on a piece of chipboard, and you just try it out, see if it works. But this is what I use, guys. And the white gesso that I use is this one. But you can use any gesso, and this one, I probably got this one at Hobby Lobby, but you can use any gesso. This is just a white gesso. But make sure that if you're using gesso, that it's a white gesso, or if you want the background to be black, then use the black gesso, because there's also a clear one that wouldn't do any color. Anyway, this is the one I use. So I'm going to show you that the crackle medium is already dried. My box is already prepped. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to show you the color that I used. And I'm just going to get a scrap of paper. This is the paint that I use by Folk Art. And the color is, it says warm white. You can't see it real good here, but it's warm white. And this is the color. Hopefully it'll focus for you guys because there is a number there. But the lighting is not that great in my room, so I can't see it. But I know it's warm white, or even an old white would work, because I really love the way an old white looks. So let me just grab a little scrap, something to put paint on. And I'm just going to use this little packaging to put my paint on it. And this is, I've got the paintbrush in my mouth, guys. This is like kind of very thick paint for some reason. A lot of times paint will be runny. This one's kind of thick. So I'm going to show you. Hopefully it won't run to that little hole right there, because it is pretty thick. And all I do, guys, is I just go around the edge. First I do the edges and just kind of brush. And you're going to see immediately where it starts to crackle. Now, the trick with this is that you do not want to paint over something, you know, you don't want to brush over it too much, because see, it'll start to pull up like it did there. And I mean, you can fix it, but, you know, if you get it right the first time, then you don't really have to mess with it. So I get all the edges because I have to be careful on the edges. And there you go. So now I'm just going to do the center. And you're going to see, before I'm done painting, you're going to see that see how it does when you get somewhere where you've already painted? It'll do that, and you want to avoid that. And as you can see, it's already crackling. The effect is already starting to take place right before your eyes. I actually put too much paint on my thing, but not so much, because I don't like to waste, guys. So I'm just going to kind of try and dab in some areas, because I don't want to pull off the crackling effect. But there it is, guys. That's all I did. And you're going to see. Let me put my brush in water, because it's one of my new brushes and I don't want to ruin it. See how it's crackling already? It's not even dry and it's already crackling. But look at how beautiful that looks. Now, after I did that, I'm going to tell you what I use next. So let me show you one that is dry already. See this one, guys? This one is already dry. Look at how nice that looks. All this crackling going on. And what you see through the crevices, the cracks, is the dark gray that I use. So if you wanted for the crackling to show more, of course, then you would use a darker base on your box than the gray that I used. And then you would do your lighter color on top. And then all I did after that, you see how the edge is painted in pink? And this is a chalk paint. Now, what I noticed with this chalk paint, that I really didn't have to prep my box with gesso, because chalk paint covers, even though a lot of times if I use regular paint and I didn't prep my plastic surface, my clear plastic surface or any surface, that the color is not as dark as it doesn't cover as much as it should. But I noticed with this, because I had a little piece that I didn't paint over with the gesso, and when I painted it over with the pink, it still covered it pretty good. So it was full coverage. So here's I'm going to show you the paint that I used, the pink one, and I just with a brush, you know, just stayed on the edge. I stayed away from the center, and I'm going to show you the paint that I used for that, because here it is. I just had it up here. It's this one by Waverly. It's Waverly chalk paint, and it's a matte finish, and it says right there, no prep acrylic paint. And I bought this, guys, at Walmart. Walmart has a little craft section where they now carry their chalk paints and stuff like that. So that's where I got this from, guys. So, and the name of the color is, it is a ballet. It's ballet slippers, not ballerina, like I said before. It's ballet slippers. That's the name of the color, and like I said, it's chalk paint. Well, and this is the results. This is what it looks like. So this is what I used on this. After you do that, guys, and that dries, what I did, and I'm going to show you on this one. Let me move this one out of the way for now. After that dried, I get rid of this. I'm done with that. After the paint had dried, all I did was get my, here it is. I got stuff everywhere, guys. I hope I'm in frame. All I did, and I'm just going to show you a little piece. I'm not going to go all the way around because I already have one prep for this. But I just got, you can use the Beacon 3-in-1, which is my preferred glue. Or the Beacon, there's a fabric Beacon one too that I use as well. And I just kind of added it a little bit to the edge. Let me close this up. I added it to the edge, and all I did was with my finger, I just kind of spread the glue on the frame, and I didn't go into the center. I just stayed on the frame. And then I got my glitter, which is this one is the one I'm using. It's by Mainstays, and it says craft glitter, and I've had this for years, so I don't know if you'll be able to find it or not, but the color is bubblegum, and this is the one I used. And like I said, I've had it for years, and a little bit goes a long way, guys. All I did was sprinkle it on my box, and it doesn't matter that some of it gets in the center, because I'm gonna kind of just tap it off. And with my finger, I'm just kind of pressing that into the glue where I spread the glue. And then I just tap it off, guys. That's all I did to it. And this is kind of a chunky glitter. So there it is, guys. Look at how pretty that is. And I didn't add it to anywhere in the back, in the box, except this little frame that's on the lid. That's the only place I added it. So let me show you what that looks like. Let me pour this back because I'm going to use this to show you how I've had a lot of people ask me about the flowers. So I'm going to show you. And this tray right here, guys, that I'm using to put the glitter back in is by Recollections. And it comes with a little stop button cap that goes here at the end. So if you have beads or something on here and you want to make sure they don't spill until you're ready to pour it back into whatever packaging or tube you took it out of, then you unplug it and take it out, and then you can pour your stuff wherever it needs to be. So I'm going to show you the one I already did, and it's right here. And now it's not completely dry. It is not completely dry, guys, because after I added the glue, I went over it with Mod Podge. This is the one I use. I'll use any Mod Podge. I don't care what Mod Podge it is, but this seems to be the only one I had left in my craft room because I go through that stuff like crazy. And I kind of just pour some on a little plate or a little cup or a paper plate, whatever, a palette. And I dip my brush in there and I just kind of pounce it, dab it on top. And when this is completely dry, see, it's kind of milky right here because it's not completely dry. When it dries completely, it'll be clear. And the reason I pour out a little into a dish or something is because I don't want to contaminate my whole jar with specks of glitter from my brush. So I'll pour out a little bit as I'm using it. And then if I need, I'd rather pour less and have to pour again than pour too much. And I've contaminated the whole thing. So after it dries completely, it's going to clear. But it's to the point that I can touch it and it's okay. So that's what I did. I dabbed it all the way around. So this is what we have so far. Now I wanted to show you this box because in my last video I said I would show it to you. And I kind of got sidetracked and I didn't. So I want to show you this box I bought at Joann's. It's got 2 clips here at the front, so it's very secure. Nothing's going to fall out. See how it's kind of hard to unsnap? And I like that because it's very secure. When you open this box up, it's got this little box on top. And all these little compartments open up, guys. There's 2 sections here. There are 2 sections here. And then there's the center one has all these divided sections. Now these come out. So if you just wanted to have one bigger section here, you could take all these dividers out. So you have 2, 4, 5 in the center. Now this is great for somebody that does beading. And then you have 3 different compartments here. And they all close very securely. Like the lid closes very securely. So I really like this box. This box was about $8 at Michael's. And I did use a coupon on it. So I was able to use a 40% coupon. But because this is for my I call her sis now. This is for Carolyn. I went ahead and bought the bigger box, you know. And I looked for a box that I thought if I was getting this for me, anytime I shop, other than when we have specific rules or whatever, but anytime I shop for anybody, I don't care what swap it is or for who it is, I shop as if I were doing it for myself. Like, what would I like? And if it's good enough for me, then it's good enough for my swap partners or my friends or my sisters or whoever I happen to be giving it to. I don't judge based on the price, but on, do I like this? Would I be willing, you know, would I want to own this item? So that's how I shop. So anyway, I wanted to show you that this one comes out, you guys. This little box comes out. And then you have a bigger space here. But once you put this little box in here, it will take up some of the space in here. So whatever you put in here has to be like a lower profile, because this individual one fits right on top of that. And it doesn't sink all the way to the bottom. It kind of sits on the top, but it does go down. I'm going to say maybe 3/4 of an inch, guys. So it's about 3/4 of an inch thick. That's how far it'll go down. So that, I'm not going to do anything to that. I'm just going to fill it up with goodies, guys. So let's close this up and start working on it. Like I said, I already had stuff prepped. So for the first thing that I did, now I have to look at my other box because I made it a while back. And anytime that I create something, the next time I create it, it's never exactly the same. Unless I go back and look at whatever it is that I created, then I can kind of mimic it. But if I didn't, I wouldn't be able to do that. Now, I had a lot of questions. Let me move this off just one more time before I proceed with that. I had a lot of questions on how I got this flower to look like this. So I'm going to show you how I did that, and I'm going to show you what flowers they are, because my friend Meg that came to visit actually bought me some flowers, because I went looking for them and I didn't find them. I made a special trip and I wasn't able to find them, but where she was staying, their Michaels had it. So look at what she gifted me, you guys. She gifted me these that are like a darker coral, then a peach, and then a lighter pink. And these are all different shades of pink. You go from light to a darker to a darker. And then she gifted me the cream color ones, or the off-white colored ones. And then she gifted me these guys. How pretty are they? So we got the light blue, we got like a mint, and maybe an aqua over here. So she bought me all of these guys, but and these are from that $2 bin. Look, these are by Craft Smart, and these are from that $2 bin at Michael's. That's where where you get these. So I'm going to go ahead and put them in here, back in the bag, and I'm going to show you how I got them to look shiny like this. So all I did, guys, this is the glue that I use. I love this glue. It's called art glitter, but it's not really glitter. It's glue. So all I did was I added like little spots of glue all over the flower, just in random places. You know, nothing in particular, no particular order. Just like I'm doing here, guys. That's all I did, guys. Like, you can see the white glue. And it's white right now, but when it dries, it does dry clear. So now I'm going to show you. I got to cover this up, guys, because if I don't, then the tip will dry out. Here's that Prism Crafts confetti that I bought at Hobby Lobby. It was $1.99. There's the item number right there if anybody's interested. And this is floral, so maybe I picked it up from the floral department. I really don't know. All I know is that I got it there, and I can't remember if it was in the craft area or the floral. But because it says floral, I'm thinking I got it in the floral department. So all I do, guys, is sprinkle it on my flower, like so. Let me get this out of the way. And I do the same thing. I kind of dab it to make sure that it adheres to the glue. And then I just tap it off, guys. That's it. Like, there's no special anything that I do to this flower. And you can see a little bit white here and there. But when it dries, it's going to dry like this one, completely clear. And you're not going to see the glue anywhere. But there it is, guys. How pretty is that? So that's how I made these flowers. I had somebody, one of my subscribers or viewers, I don't know if she's a subscriber or not. I think she is. And asked me about that. So I wanted to show you guys how I did that. And again, here's this tray by Recollections. And it's so nice because I don't have to worry about spilling. You know, I just kind of tap it and it falls right into that slot and into my bag. And I mean, you could use a little brush to kind of brush everything down and get it to go into your bag. But, you know, that's good enough right there for me. So I'm going to go ahead and put this plug back on. Always replace it. That way you won't lose it, guys. So I'm going to move this out of the way now that I showed you how I made these flowers. Here's another look, guys. How pretty is that? Imagine that the aqua ones like this. Beautiful. So let's start with the box, guys. So the first thing that I did with my box, I added the big flower here. So I'm going to take the one that's already dry. I love this color. And usually this little pop dots that they put on them usually come off, but that's okay. I have my hot glue going, and I have my here it is, my fabric tack, or in this case, I'm probably going to use this a lot, my E6000. Now, I had somebody that's in the swap, and she had concerns about stuff coming off because she lives in Florida. I, too, live in Florida, and I think her name was Nina. I don't remember what her channel was on YouTube. But, Miss Nina, this is what I use, and I haven't had any problems. And even if something were to fall off in transit, it's going to a crafter. And I'm sure all crafters have some type of glue or something, or their preferred glues, that they can fix it right back up. It wouldn't be a problem if something fell off. Because if something came to me and something fell off from whatever I got, it happens. It's okay. We can fix it. So all I did here to begin, I used my this trim, and I just cut a little piece off. Let me pull it out. I got these flower petals, guys, just sitting here waiting for me to do something with them. And I don't know how you guys unravel this thing, but it seems like every time I get it, I have a hard time finding the right end. Here, I think I got it. So I won't lose my end when I cut it. I'm going to try and pull it through. There. So I'm just going to cut a little piece of this trim. Like, it's a tiny piece, guys. Now this trim, if anybody's interested, I picked it up at Hobby Lobby. The color is Ocean, and it's over there where the yarn is. All the crochet stuff. So here's the piece, guys. I mean, it's literally like a 7-inch piece. And all I did was wrap it. And I set it down right there. I didn't do anything special to it. I just set it down right there. Just like that. Because by the time I start adding to it, whatever I glue on top of that is going to hold it down. And it's not going to move. So I'm going to use two different types of glues. I'm going to use the E6000 and I'm going to use hot glue. Because the E6000 takes a little bit longer to dry that way. And I always try to get it, guys, in between, not just the calyx part, but I do get it in here to make sure that the flower and the calyx don't separate. So there it is, guys. And I'm just going to come out of frame for a bit because I'm going to add some hot glue. And I've got a bunch of junk on my desk that even if my hot glue reached over here, it wouldn't, there wouldn't be no room for it. So there's my flower, you guys. That's literally all I did to that. The next thing I did was I started adding little pieces in here. But I think I'm going to add this first. So this little ribbon, I also bought this at Hobby Lobby, and I don't remember, I think I have it right here. It's by Offray, and the color, I don't see a color on it, guys, but it's kind of like an aqua color as well, mint aqua. It's between mint and aqua, and there is the UPC number on that if anybody's interested. But I did get it at Hobby Lobby. Let me move that out of the way. Now what I did to this, I kind of just glued it under the flower right here. And then I tacked, let me see, this is going the wrong way. Let me twist. Let me glue this piece down. Usually when I have, because this is a satin ribbon and it's kind of one-sided. So when my ribbon is, when I tie it and it's the wrong way, one of the tails, I just add a dab of glue and I twist it and I glue it down. Now I have the correct side going up, showing. So we're going to glue this right here. I'm just going to add it there, and then I'm going to tack this here and there so it won't be in the way of when they open the box. So let me go ahead and do that. And again, I think I'm just going to go ahead and go with the fabric tack because I do have some of that trim down here, and it will attach to that trim, and it'll attach to the box. And by the time I add other stuff, you know, it's gonna stay. So there it is. I usually have to close this right back up because it kind of oozes out. So I'm going to lift this up, put this in there, and then this, let's tack this piece down, guys. And I'm going to do this with a E6000. I'm just going to put a little dab there. I mean, literally, that's it. And hold it down right there. Let it adhere there for a second. Now, if I didn't want to hold it, I hope I'm in frame, guys. Am I in frame, guys? I should be. So, if I didn't want to hold it, I could add some hot glue. So, there's that one. This one looks like it's a little long for me, but I'm still going to go ahead and tack it down here and there. So, let's do this one. I'm going to put a little dab of glue right there in the corner. And I want it, I don't want it to just lay flat. I want it to have kind of movement, kind of like as if it were a wire ribbon. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to tack this one down here somewhere. Out of the way, but this little piece right here, oh, came off. Now this is where the hot glue comes in handy, because if I were to put a little dab of hot glue there, I wouldn't have to be holding it. It would stay. So that looks pretty good. So I'm going to get some more glue, and I'm going to add a little bit right here on the side because I want the ribbon. I'm going to tack it down right there as well. So I'm just going to twist it a little bit and come back this way. And it won't be in the way of the lid whenever they open the lid or close the lid. You're not going to have to worry about the ribbon being in the way. So there it is, guys. There's my ribbon, and it looks pretty, like it's just flowing it's like if it were a wire ribbon. So there's that. Now the other thing that I did to it, I'm going to show you. I got these keys, and now all my keys are different. All the keys that I'm using are different because when I buy them in a pack, they're not all the same. You get a variety of keys. Now, some of these are from the $2 spot at Michael's, and some of them, I don't know where they came from. I've had them a long time. So I went ahead and gessoed these in white. Then I used that Prima paint that I showed you before, that comes in that opal. It's called Opal Magic, and it comes in pink and in blue and in green. So that's what I did here. The same stuff that I used on the resin mermaid tail and all that, and I'll show you what that looks like. It's this box right here, guys, by Prima. It's called Opal Magic Acrylic Paint. And then I gessoed these book plates by Tim Holtz. They're kind of sticking, they're not completely dry, and in white. And I did the same thing. I painted them, and I used all three colors on it. I used the pink, I used the blue, and I used the green on them. The only thing I didn't paint is the back, because that's not going to show. So I didn't paint the backs at all. So I'm going to move these out of the way because I don't need them. And on this particular box, if you notice, 3 keys are the same, and then I have one that's longer. Because this box is longer, I'm going to use the longer one. So that key is going to go right here, guys. And then this little cherub, he's going to go right there. So let's go ahead and glue that down. And to glue that down, I'm going to use the E6000. So I think I'm going to glue the key first. Go ahead and put E6000 on it. And around this ring, make sure it doesn't come off. Okay, now I'm going to place my little cherub where he's going to go, because I want to make sure that I'm putting this key in the right place. So I'm going to put it right here, guys. And I'm just going to tip it over so I can make sure that it's going on straight. Yep, that looks pretty good right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue my little cherub down. So that looks pretty good. And again, to do the cherub, I'm going to use the E6000 again for him. And I say him because I've never heard of angels being girls, guys.